So to start this show, I want to give a thank you. Not only to you guys, because you guys keep the lights on here. I am so incredibly lucky to be able to do what I do. Not a lot of people get to talk for a living, and you guys, thank you guys so much for supporting me. But I also want to give a thank you to the 304's for doing wild stuff every day, who also keep me employed. So today's story, we are talking about the Fox lawsuit. Now, I'm first going to go over the story, and then I'm going to show you guys pictures of the key players because I just think it makes it easier. There's a lot of names to keep up with. So in the news, there has been a lawsuit filed against Fox Sports and some of its staff, including Skip Bayless and Joy Taylor. We're going to talk about Joy Taylor today. Who is Joy Taylor? She has been working for Fox Sports in one capacity or another since March of 2016. During her tenure at Fox, she's had some takes on certain athletes that could be looked at questionably after these allegations have come to light. In 2022, Joy Taylor gave a scathing criticism of Cleveland Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson about sexual misconduct allegations were leveled against him. She went on various shows and podcasts saying that his punishment was not enough and that she didn't feel he was sorry or remorseful. Now, 2 years later, she finds herself in hot water with misconduct allegations of her own. The allegations include Joy Taylor dismissing the claims the defendant, a hairstylist on staff, made against various members of the Fox Sports team, telling her to get over it. The lawsuit also alleges that the only reason why Taylor landed her gig as a host on Fox Sports was due to her sleeping with Charlie Dixon, the former VP of content at Fox. This relationship happened while she was married. Dun, dun, dun. An affair between Taylor and co-host was also listed in the suits. There are two sides to every story, but Joy Taylor and the hairstylist, let's look at both. So, to start, I want to show you guys pictures of all of the people involved in this story. So, all the players in this. Because I just, for me, I don't watch sports. So when this came out, I was getting really confused when I was reading the lawsuit. So, slideshow, here we go. The players. This is Joy Taylor. And this is how she used to dress going to work. So Joy Taylor was a small radio host. And she randomly was selected for a major talk show at Fox, despite having little to no sports broadcasting experience. Why do you guys think she was selected? What do you guys think? What was the motivation here? What do you think helped her get the job? Maybe she could give advice on how to get a job. I don't know. Also, I am reading the chat today, but I read the Audacity site's chats first. And if you're on the site and you want me to read your chat, put Pearl read dot and I will read your chat. Okay, next. So Taylor, Fox Sports host, is accused of insulting Faraji on a personal, professional level. So essentially, Faraji was the hairstylist. We're going to get to her, but just so you guys know, the woman filing the sexual harassment complaint. So the woman filing the complaint, she was a hairstylist. Let me get to her picture, is this woman. So she was doing hair, hanging out. And I guess she complained to this woman and said, "Hey, lady, I'm being harassed at work." And she said, she put her boobs out and said, "I do not care. I don't care at all." She said, "Get over it." And remember, this is the woman who said that players that had been accused of harassment, sports players, they didn't do enough to punish them. Can you think about how ironic it is? Women talking, not all women, I like to say not all, not all, not all. But sir, I'll say let's use an archetype here. Promiscuous women with their boobs out, half naked in public, complaining about harassment from men. I mean, isn't that sort of all right, one in the chat. Do you think if a woman like this walked into a room, would you take that as an invitation? Dressed like that. Like, okay, imagine if you went on a date with her. She's out of probably most of you guys' price range if we're going to get into who she's sleeping with. But let's say by the love of God, you guys took her on a date. And she came in dressed like this. Would you take that as this date is going to go well? Now, I'm not saying it's the right thing to do, right? But anyways. So Taylor is alleged to have had a sexual relationship with both Dixon and Echo at the same time. When Faraji approached her with concerns about the dynamic, the lawsuit states, Taylor told her that she would simply report Dixon's misconduct to Fox News once he was no longer useful to her. So she said, I am going to sleep my way to the top. And I'm going to sue you guys after. Allegedly. Allegedly. Next, we have her husband. Now, I don't know who this guy is. I don't really care. I just thought a face to the name. So this guy is married to her. So he saw her. She came to the date. Dressed like this, they got married. This is the hairstylist filing the suit. Now, does this look like a woman dressed for attention at work? Now, I think this one's debatable. You could say Pearl, but she's completely covered up. She doesn't have her boobs out, and that's true. Shirt's a size too small, though. It's pretty heavy makeup. I don't know. That one could go either way. That one. Now, apparently this guy, he's a host. So obviously, the hosts get thrown young, hot punani at them all the time. I mean, guys, when you work in media, the men in media, the women love sweet talkers. I mean, you guys already know in your hometowns, the guys who have no job, they haven't had a job in years. And somehow they still get the hot women. You guys will be, you'll have a house. You'll have a car. You'll have a nice car, right? And you think, how does that guy pull? Well, he's a smooth talker. This guy also a smooth talker. But still, he wanted to risk it all, risk his career for this lady. He said, you know what? I might get a lawsuit, but she's such a hot piece, that I'm just gonna, yeah. Okay. Now, this guy is the executive VP of content. Apparently, he also was sleeping with her, and that is how she got her job. So again, she doesn't really discriminate. The one thing, you can't say that she's racist. You can't. You can't say that she has a type. You can't this is who she's married to. He's like a light-skinned, maybe Hispanic or mixed, I would say. Then you got this guy. And then you got this guy. She is an equal opportunist. She does not discriminate. And she's also sleeping with this guy. He's also married. He is another show host. Skip Bayless, show host. We're going to read the full story. I like to put pictures because when I was reading this, I was very confused on who is who. And then Bobby Diaz is a behind the scenes guy. Yeah, so let me see. I think I went through all the characters in this. Yeah, so these are the characters. Just one more run through. We're going to go through them one more time. Oh, no, don't share it. Play the slideshow. Okay. Office Hoe. Office Hoe's husband. Look at, he's smiling. He's so happy. Can you imagine getting on one knee? Saying, I'm going to dedicate my life to you, woman. And not just finding out she's cheating. You know, because who here's been cheated on? It happens. It's such an L. It really, you know, I mean, who can avoid it? But there's something about being cheated on. What's worse, with a guy that's better than you, where you kind of understand, or a guy that's significantly worse looking? You know, because the one that's better than you in every way, you could be at which. Who arguably would that be? Depends on your perspective. But let's just say, looks wise, he's a good looking guy, not as good looking, right? So this guy, it's like, okay, he's better looking, kind of makes sense. But not only, she's also cheating with this guy. Can you guys let me know, as a man, like, what's worse? When you find out she's getting dug out, your wife's getting dug out by this guy or this guy? This guy? Oh, wait, sorry. This guy? No, what did I do? Okay. Or this guy. And not only that, but also this guy. They said both are bad. Guys, hit the like button. Stop. You guys are being rude. You guys are being rude, okay? I'm tired of this nonsense. I'm tired of it. A like is free. Hit that like button. 500 of you in here, there should be 500 likes, or I will protest. I will. I'll do it. I don't care. So, I'm going to pull up. We're going to pull up the lawsuit. So, Ms. Faraji, remember, this is the hairstylist. Yeah, you can. Ms. Faraji brings forth this action because for over a decade at Fox, she was forced to endure a misogynistic, racist, and ableist workplace where executives and talent were allowed to physically and verbally abuse workers without impunity. With impunity. When Ms. Faraji and others came forward to report the wrongdoing, instead of addressing those concerns, Fox retaliated against them, while perpetrators and those who protected them were inexplicably promoted. This case thus represents yet another long line of cases showing the toxic culture at Fox, marked by bad faith promises and repeated failures to address a poisonous and entrenched patriarchy. So we're gonna decide together how credible this accusation is, because this is a serious accusation, and you know men are falsely accused in this country every day. It causes millions of men to commit suicide every year. Recently there was a man that went so crazy from a bad divorce, he went up and shot his wife. Another one blew up a Cybertruck. Like, this kills men every year. So I like to give the benefit of the doubt because we don't know what happened. I'm reading the beginning of this lawsuit. This doesn't seem that credible to start. But we're going to keep going. I mean, she's saying patriarchy, ableist. I mean, I don't know. She doesn't look. Is she I mean, can I say that? I guess I probably can't. Is she, what is the, what, she doesn't look disabled. Maybe mentally. I don't know. I'm not saying she is or she isn't, but legs, arms, walking, selfieing. I don't know. Okay, we'll keep going. Ms. Faraji also brings forth an action on behalf of herself and Fox current and former non-exempt hourly employees employed in California, beginning 4 years prior to the filing of the complaints and ending on the date determined by the court, specifically during the class period. Fox has had a consistent policy of practice of failing to pay all employees minimum wages, failing to pay employees all overtime wages, and failing to reimburse employees for business expenses. Failing to pay all wages upon separation, and knowingly and intentionally failing to furnish accurate itemized wage statements. Okay, blah, blah. We don't get that part's boring. I mean, would any of us be here if this was you're not paying me enough lawsuit? I know I wouldn't be here. I'd be covering Blake Lively right now. But thank you, Joy, for your hoe escapades, because those brought this story right to the top. This story was Joy, you came into it, you came to the top of my list. Okay, so the parties, we went through who everyone is in this already, so I'm going to skip that part. Okay, factual background. In 2003, Ms. Faraji, hairdresser, began working at Jose Eber Hair Salon, a sophisticated salon providing cutting-edge styling and coloring techniques and treatments to high-profile clients. Around 2010, Ms. Faraji was introduced by a coworker at the salon to Gail Berman, the former president of entertainment for Fox Broadcasting Company, and Dana Walden, the former CEO of Fox Television Group. Shortly thereafter, Ms. Faraji began accompanying the coworker to do Ms. Walden and Ms. Berman's hair at their homes on the premise of Fox. Over time, as Ms. Faraji's coworkers became busy with other clients, he sent Ms. Faraji to do her own hair at the homes and on the premise of Fox. Okay, so this woman, let's, I'm leaning towards not credible. Now, why, Pearl? Harassment happens every day, right? I mean, that's not untrue. You know, hold on. I'm drinking my water. I'm parched, all right? Now, you might say, isn't it probable that over a 10-year period that could have happened? I mean, she's not an unattractive woman. I mean, she's kind of old now, but like any woman with big boobs is going to get offers, right? I mean, let's just keep it a buck here. You could be a 4 if you got a bit. Guys are they're gonna say what's up. They're gonna say hello, you know. So now we're over a 10-year period. That's just convenient that now you were harassed. Why would you continue to sign up? That doesn't, you know, there's no other choice for a hairstylist. And I believe this is in California. There are a lot of ladies that want to get their hair done in California. I mean, I watched the financial audit show the other day. And there was a woman who flew to California to get her hair done. Obviously a terrible financial decision, but you guys get the point. Okay. In approximately 2012, a makeup stylist who would do Miss Walden or Ms. Berman's makeup when Ms. Faraji worked on their hair recommended Ms. Faraji for a position at Fox. Fox then hired Ms. Faraji as a part-time employee. When hired, she was asked to bring her own tools for work. She later discovered all her coworkers received a kit fee for bringing their own tools. So this woman remembered this from 2012. We do not let things go. Wow. Okay, so now she's mad she wasn't paid for something. We don't care about that. We really don't. Like let's not play pretend and say like we're so worried about their lost wages. We do not care. We don't. Okay. In approximately March 2016, Ms. Faraji met Ms. Taylor, an aspiring sports personality that had recently moved from Miami to LA for the opportunity of a lifetime at Fox. At the time, Ms. Taylor did not have a regular position but would fill in on a day-by-day basis when talent was sick or otherwise missed time. Ms. Taylor told Ms. Faraji that she recently wed, but her husband remained in Miami and she was in LA. Ms. Taylor then befriended Ms. Faraji. So the office hoe, we're going to go back to the ladies. The office hoe, these two are becoming pals. Not them. Okay, yeah. So this guy is in Miami. I don't know. People are doing long distance marriages now. Wow. What a time. Hairstyle. So again, this is bringing me towards less credible. You are the company you keep, right? So, if if Joy Taylor is sleeping with everybody in the office, you're telling me you became friends with her and you partook in none of it. Okay. Okay. I mean, maybe I could be wrong. But I gotta say, Joy's husband is a total simp. And I have been on the front lines of the simp epidemic for years. But I need to tell you guys about a quiet weapon being ratcheted up against men that is rarely talked about. It's not just the relentless anti-masculinity propaganda and OnlyFans hoes causing the societal issues we discuss on the show. Did you know that the average city's tap water contains trace pharmaceuticals and endocrine disruptors? This often includes estrogen from birth control. The average adult consumes a credit card worth of plastic every week. That's 5 grams of plastic a week on average. So it's no wonder that the average male's testosterone is half of what it was 50 years ago. Testosterone levels decline 1% a year, and without a course correction, we are headed towards extinction. No matter how based you are, you need to be naturally boosting your testosterone. My friends at Chalk, CHOQ.com, are on a mission to save mankind from extinction by boosting your vitality. Chalk's Male Vitality Stat contains premium and potent herbs clinically studied to naturally boost your testosterone levels, sperm count, and overall vitality. Just one of the many ingredients in the Male Vitality Stack was studied in double-blind human clinical trials in order to boost testosterone 20% in 90 days. When you boost your testosterone, you'll have more mental clarity. You're more capable of making decisions and taking risks. Having high testosterone will also affect your pheromones, so women will find you more attractive subconsciously. Get the Chalk Male Vitality Stack right now on chalk.com. That's CHOQ.com. Use my name Pearl as your coupon code and you'll get 25% off site-wide on chalk.com. That's CHOQ.com. My name Pearl is the discount code. Okay. So now they're friends, they're pals. In approximately May of 2016, Ms. Taylor asked Ms. Faraji to meet for a drink in Santa Monica. When Ms. Faraji arrived, she found Ms. Taylor with an older man, Fox Sports executive VP of Content, Mr. Dixon. As executive VP, Mr. Dixon is responsible for overseeing all content and production on FS1. Ms. Faraji, however, did not know Mr. Dixon. When Mr. Dixon went to buy them another round of spicy margaritas, Ms. Faraji asked who he was. Ms. Taylor responded that he was just a friend. Following that night, whenever Ms. Faraji would meet with Ms. Taylor for drinks or food, Mr. Dixon would either arrive with Ms. Taylor or show up later in the night and leave with Ms. Taylor. He would always buy rounds of drinks and or food from their body language. Ms. Faraji suspected that the pair was sleeping together And although this concerned Ms. Faraji, she knew Ms. Taylor was recently married. Ms. Faraji kept her opinions to herself. In approximately June of 2016, while at work, Ms. Faraji noticed Mr. Dixon in the elevator. Surprised by the coincidence, Ms. Faraji found Ms. Taylor and told her excitedly, "The guy who always buys us our drinks was in the elevator." Ms. Taylor quickly silenced Ms. Faraji, explaining who he was. Ms. Faraji became alarmed and warned Ms. Taylor that such a relationship was unsafe. Ms. Taylor told her not to worry about it. Ms. Taylor continued to be friends with Ms. Taylor, but tried to distance herself as she considered the situation dangerous as well as morally wrong, as Ms. Taylor and Mr. Dixon were both married. In approximately July of 2016, word spread amongst Fox employees about a new show that was going to be a big deal, and it would star Mr. Bayless and Shannon Sharp. It was known that Fox was looking for a woman with significant TV experience to also star. Therefore, it came with a surprise when Fox announced that Ms. Taylor, who was a bartender and a radio host in Miami with very little TV experience, would be the moderator of the new show, a sports debate program. Skip and Shannon undisputed. Mr. Bayless later disclosed to Ms. Faraji that he did not want Ms. Taylor on the show, but Mr. Dixon was adamant that Ms. Taylor should star. At first, Mr. Dixon arranged a dinner between Mr. Bayless and Ms. Taylor when she arrived in provocative clothing and acted in a provocative manner. When that did not change Mr. Bayless's opinion of Ms. Taylor, Mr. Dixon asked him to approve of her favor to him. Reluctantly, Mr. Bayless agreed to do a favor to his friend. Around August of 2016, Ms. Faraji attended a dinner with Ms. Taylor and her husband and Mr. Dixon and his wife. Oh no. During the dinner, Ms. Taylor's husband became suspicious that Ms. Taylor and Mr. Dixon were having a sexual relationship. So after the dinner, Ms. Taylor's husband found evidence of the inappropriate relationship and divorced Ms. Taylor. So let's go back to the people here. So these two went to dinner with this guy and I think it was this guy, right? This guy and his wife. Let me double check. Miss Taylor's husband, Mr. Dixon. Yeah, this is Dixon. So this guy, the audacity. So not only was she cheating, and let's not like her husband, it's not like he's a scrub, it's not like he's objectively good looking man. Objectively. You can't tell me that that's an ugly guy. And from I don't know who he is, but from what I've heard, we're gonna see what his job was. I'm pretty sure he was relatively successful too. Let's see. Joy Taylor, husband. What was her name again? That was the right name. Ex-husband. No, that's not him. Does she have two ex-husbands? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. She must have two. I think I had the wrong husband, guys. I won't lie to you. Oh, this is embarrassing. Oh no. She have two? Oh, this looks like two. Okay, I don't know which one she was cheating on. Is this? My producer says both. Okay, we're gonna put both of them because, in all honesty, I don't know which one is taking place in this story. We're gonna add this to the mix. Okay. Okay, I have all these screenshots of random people. Oh, here we go. Okay, we're gonna show the screen. So one of these guys got cheated on at the dinner. I don't know who, but you think it was the Puerto Rican? Can someone in the chat let me know which one? Okay. Someone in the chat here from Candace. Oh, wait, never mind. I thought that was something else. Okay, so Mr. Bayless. Okay, so they get divorced. And basically, this woman, she's hanging out with her pal. The hairdresser's hanging out with the hoe. And we all know what hairdressers are on. Let's not. This woman's acting all innocent. I don't believe it. She was on some demon time. I don't know with who. I don't know with what. But you won't convince me. They're hanging out, getting drinks for years, and this woman did nothing. Okay. The next part of the story. So they get divorced. In approximately September 2016, Undisputed started, Ms. Taylor requested Ms. Faraji to do her hair. In approximately November 2016, after not allowing anyone to touch his hair, Mr. Bayless also requested Ms. Faraji to do her hair. So now she's the main hair lady on Undisputed. What a sticky situation. What a sticky situation. Wow. Okay. On January 14th, 2017, Ms. Taylor had her birthday party at Pearl's rooftop in West Hollywood. Ms. Faraji and other Fox employees who were invited attended as it was a part of their job, duties to appease talent. And a birthday party is an important event. So now she's claiming she had to go to this birthday party. Now, I won't lie to you. To women, birthday parties are a big deal. When I was in school, I played volleyball in college. And it really confused me because I just have always felt like over the age of 18, I mean, you have 18 and 21. But outside of that, I don't think birthdays are a big deal. It's just not, it's not my thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, what is we could get dinner or something. You know, you go get dinner with your boyfriend but they would do these group activities and it would be like 10 women getting together. And, just for me, I just didn't understand it, right? I was like, you're turning like 23. What are we doing this big party for? It's not like a big 21 you can drink, 18, you're 18, you're a legal adult, 16 you can drive. I don't know. So, was there a gun to her head where she was forced to go to this party? I don't think so. I'm not giving her that. Ms. Faraji and other Fox employees who were invited attended as it was part of their job duties to appease talent. And a birthday party is an important event. As usual, Mr. Dixon was heavily drinking, buying drinks for everyone on a Fox credit card, and blustering that everything was purchased on Fox's dime. As Ms. Faraji was standing near the bar facing the crowd, Mr. Dixon approached her. He asked the bartender for a drink and then placed his arm on Ms. Faraji's lower back. He asked how she was doing, if she was having fun, if she wanted a tequila shot. Ms. Faraji felt very uncomfortable by his unsolicited touching and responded, "No, thank you." Mr. Dixon then moved his hand lower and started rubbing her body, grabbing her buttocks. Ms. Faraji was mortified but quickly thought to fake an incoming call to escape the situation. Ms. Faraji did not know who to turn to, but as soon as she knew Ms. Taylor was sleeping with Mr. Dixon, she turned to her. Surprisingly, Ms. Taylor responded to "get over it" and explained that she herself only had the job because of Mr. Dixon and that Ms. Faraji only had the job because Ms. Taylor requested her. She warned that Mr. Dixon could take that away. Ms. Faraji was terrified and then turned to her coworker Anonymous to discuss the situation. Anonymous responded that Mr. Dixon was disgusting, that the entire situation was sick, and that it wasn't shocking given Fox's culture, and that Ms. Faraji should remain quiet if she wanted to keep her job. As a single mother who needed the job to support her son, Ms. Faraji had no choice but to stay silent. There was no other jobs. None. Over a 10-year period. I mean, I could see maybe it's a less glamorous job. But zero. Mm. Let me know if you guys think this is credible. You put it in the chat. I could be wrong. Ms. Faraji was terrified and then, oh wait, we got there. 7 years, oh my gosh, 7 years later. We really do not let things go. I mean, look, in 2016 was a different time. Now, okay, look, nowadays, men are not going to go grab the ass. They're not going to do it. They're not going to go for it, right? Because they are not trying to be in this lawsuit. F that. They say, hell no. But a decade ago, 2016, it wasn't as big of a deal then. I know you guys are going to say, Pearl 304. I'm just saying, back then, that just wasn't it wasn't this, if a guy grabbed your ass and it was ugly or whatever, you would just take the L and move on. It'd be like, ew, gross. Why would he do that? But you wouldn't do a whole lawsuit. You wouldn't go to you wouldn't go to the police. It was just ew. And how many men have been sexually harassed by their employer, right? Men don't really like to go to the cops. They don't want to get involved. So when, an old lady at work hits on the guy, usually the men just kind of take it. They just say, she is disgusting. That was an L. Or, oh, that overweight woman hit on me. She grabbed me there. Ew, gross. I tell her to stop and I move on with my life. And can you imagine a guy going into a police station saying, hey, my boss tried to grab my junk at work. They'd probably laugh at him and they'd say, so, right? I mean, it's not, I'm saying back then, it just wasn't as big of a deal as it is now. That's all. I'm not trying to justify it, right? I'm just saying back then, you would just take the L. You would be annoyed, grossed out, take the L, and move on. That would be it. Okay, so let me go on. 7 years later, in 2023, Ms. Perotti told Ms. Faraji that she did not like her or anything about disputed. Who's Ms. Perotti? Where did I miss another name? This is why I was getting confused. All right, who's Ms. Perotti in this lawsuit? We're gonna catch up.
By the way, it was the Italian dude was the husband. The other guy was the girl, was a guy, radio host that she dated.
Oh, so the Italian guy was the husband. Yeah. Okay, well, I don't know who this other woman is in this lawsuit, but we're just going to keep. All right, that she did not like her or anything about undisputed. Ms. Perotti expanded that she had already scheduled for hair on Undisputed when Mr. Dixon called her and told her that she put Ms. Faraji on Undisputed full time. Ms. Perotti told Ms. Faraji, I didn't like that. That's not how things should be done. Ms. Faraji was stunned and devastated as she prides herself on her work and earning her accolades. Later that day, while thinking about her career, she was angry that Ms. Perotti succumbed to Mr. Dixon's request, as it gave Mr. Dixon the feeling that he could grope her for giving a job. Okay, so we're going back to this. So apparently, guys, I had the husband wrong. We're gonna X out this guy. Oh wait, I gotta undo it. We're gonna get this crop feature. He was probably also cheated on, but we don't know that for a fact. So here we go, guys. This is the guy who was cheated on. My fault. Please forgive me. Gosh, what an L. Oh my goodness. Can you guys tell me in the chat who would be the biggest violation of being cheated on? I just want, okay, imagine you find out, you go through your girl's phone and you find out she's cheating with him. Do you think, well, makes sense? Or him, what's the worst violation? Are you like, well, he's rich? I just like, what is the worst to be cheated on? The good looking show host, the ugly rich guy. The okay looking, decent. I don't know. He's like old now, but I feel like 10 years ago he might have been decent, right? What is the worst? What is the worst? I don't know. They said equally bad. The black guy is the worst. Well, I could see that. Okay. Okay, so all right, several years into Ms. Faraji's tenure at Fox, a female talent member hired Faraji to do her hair in her house for an award show. Anonymous asked that Ms. Faraji meet her for lunch there. There, Anonymous told Ms. Faraji that she would no longer be at Fox, as Mr. Dixon told her she would need to have sex with him if she wanted to renew her contract. But she had refused. Anonymous further conveyed that Mr. Dixon was doing this to other women talent. She should warn Ms. Taylor to be careful. And a talk show had recently reported Mr. Dixon. Following the lunch, Ms. Faraji called Ms. Taylor to convey what Anonymous had stated. Ms. Taylor responded that no one gives a F about Anonymous or the talk show host who had reported Mr. Dixon. Ms. Faraji later observed that Ms. Taylor's remark appeared acute, and no actions were taken to address the concerns raised. If it was not already apparent, it became even more clear that Fox enabled high-ranking individuals to abuse their authority, exerting undue control over female talents and employees. Fear permeated the workplace as stories of mistreatment circulated. As one example, Mr. Dixon deliberately assigned a female talent manager who had been harassed and reported it to a show set up to fail. When the show inevitably failed due to his sabotage, he used the failure as a justification to terminate her employment. In another instance, a coworker who frequently cried in the hallway due to the relentless sexual harassment was fired 1 week after reporting it. These repeated incidents reinforced an atmosphere where speaking up seemed futile and dangerous. Okay. Because I'm thinking of this objectively. I'm like a super objective, fair, balanced show, obviously. So now could I see it that women are rewarding? That women are being rewarded for having sex with the boss. Is that something you guys have seen? The boss giving some pretty 22-year-old special treatment, and it comes out later they're having sex. Is that possible? I would say yes. Is that probable? Potentially. Could I see women getting punished for not doing it? Okay, this is how I'm thinking. Maybe it was different. It was probably different in 2016. In my corporate work experience, you weren't really alone with bosses too often. They're kind of afraid of us. Rightfully so. I could understand. Like, usually if I had a meeting with a boss, the door would be open. And I'm just wondering how that conversation, it's possible. Yeah, I don't think they would get fired. I just think he would say, okay, talent A is having sex with me, talent B isn't. Talent A is going to get it. I could see that happening. Let's keep going. Let's put that as a little bit more credible. right? Let's give there's like 10 slashes against her, which is one, she waited a decade. Two, she's turning on her friend. She's friends with the hoe. These are uncredible. But, now we're saying this is a pattern of behavior. Okay, let's keep going. Mr. Bayless begins to give Miss Faraji lingering hugs and kisses on the cheek while putting his body against hers and pressing against her breast. After reporting by the talk shows fell on deaf ears, Mr. Bayless began requesting that Ms. Faraji gave him a haircut once a week in the makeup room. Ms. Faraji did as she was told, or as Ms. Peretti required Ms. Faraji to give haircuts to talent. Initially, during the haircuts, Mr. Bayless would discuss his life, his work at Fox, and other matters. However, soon after the weekly haircuts started, Mr. Bayless began finding excuses to touch Ms. Faraji. He would give her lingering hugs after each haircut, putting his body against her own, pressing against her breasts. He then began to kiss her on the cheek. Ms. Faraji was uncomfortable by the physical contact and would make excuses to leave right after the haircut. Okay, so now maybe this happened once, but here's my question. In my experience, if you're very clear that you're not interested in it, like men aren't dying to be embarrassed, right? I mean, I'm just speaking from what I've lived. Men aren't dying to be rejected and embarrassed. The only men I see continually pursuing women after they decline are men that really can't read social cues at all. But I just don't think they would be in that high level of a position in media. Maybe some other industry, like media, you kind of got to talk a little, you got to. Or the woman is giving mixed signals. Now I'm going to give you an example. Stop. Ha ha, he stop, he tee he. Two completely different meanings, same word. I mean, tone changes a lot. You could say the most effed up thing. But if you have the right tone, it could come off meaning something else. My guess, she's friends with a hoe. He's continuing to do this, hug her, flirt with her. I think she played into it a bit. Yeah, they say, oh, don't stop. You guys know what I'm talking about. I mean, us, like, we're confusing creatures. Your lips tell us no, but there's a yes in your eyes. You guys don't say that out loud, okay? I don't want to get you guys to get in trouble. I know what you mean, but let's not. Yeah, Mon on the website says, that's a ridiculous response. I've had guys touch me without permission and I slapped them and moved away. Problem solved. Also, I wasn't traumatized or terrified. Sheesh. I was in the working world in the 80s. There weren't laws protecting women then. I took care of myself and it was all good. I did change jobs once. Look, there was a time in college. I was at a bar. And the most disgusting dude ever grabbed my butt. It was disgusting. It was like, and I wasn't even looking at it. I was like turned away. And this guy, I just turn around. But I mean, I wasn't really, I just took the L. I was like, I just gave him a look, right? He obviously took the hint, stopped. I ended up leaving. Like, it wasn't a big deal. Do you know what I mean? I was just like, ew. But back then, that wasn't the most uncommon thing that ever happened. I mean, I know now it's like in 2024 after Me Too, the men are like, hell no. We are not touching you. I have guys on the show telling me they get written consent on dates because they are not playing. It's not going to be them anymore. Except for, yeah. But, we're in 2024, like 6, 7, 10 years ago. It was a different time. Joel says, I don't care who she cheats with. Equally bad for the streets. I had to switch to the Audacity from Rumble. Pearl, you look awesome in purple. It's my favorite color, especially on redhead next to simmering blue. I have 2 kids and like women, so not gay. Don't don't simp. I mean, like, thank you so much for signing up. But I have seen it in the army. Okay, but I'm a taken woman, we got to have boundaries here. Okay, Yakab. So, okay, wait, it happens a lot in the army. It's one of the reasons mixed gender troops is a mistake. I've heard that. I've really heard that. My boyfriend has told me some stories. I won't lie to you guys. Okay, I am the first person witness and could describe in detail with the names. If I had to research it, you might want to trust a retired veteran. Trust first person witness is not hearsay. You said on your knees? What the hell? Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna just continue. Now, okay. In approximately 2017, Ms. Faraji was giving Mr. Bayless a haircut. He told her that she was voluptuous, and English is her second language. She was not familiar with the word. Ms. Faraji asked what it meant, and Mr. Bayless seemed amused and told her to figure it out. Ms. Faraji later asked a coworker what the word meant and was mortified. Mr. Bayless then stated being more aggressive and direct in his advance. Ms. Faraji continually declined, stating that she did not date at work and is a single mom and needed her job. Okay, so this is Mr. Bayless, which is this guy. So remember, this is the guy that's doing the dinners and the party. Now, apparently, this guy called her voluptuous. This is his wife. They kind of look like siblings, don't they? Am I like... But yeah, so married, but he's saying she's voluptuous. Now, do I believe that a woman that has been in the country at least since, I think she said she started in 2003 or 6, doesn't understand what that means? Only because when I was in England, we had a housekeeper for a bit that did not understand English. She did not. So it's possible. Okay. Well, I'll continue. Ms. Faraji was terrified and then You were terrified? Okay. I mean, okay. And turned to her coworker to discuss the situation. The two decided that because Mr. Bayless was a powerful man and Fox protected powerful men, it would only be to her detriment to report the issue. The two decided Ms. Faraji needed to be kind towards Mr. Bayless or risk her job. As a single mother who relied on her job to support her sons, Ms. Faraji felt that she had no choice. Ms. Faraji has her hours cut after going on medical leave. In December 2017, Ms. Faraji returned from her leave. She was not provided her full-time schedule. Okay, is she going to get hit on here, or is this going to be some complaining about pay? We all know I don't care about the pay part. I mean, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Y'all did. Okay, now, okay. Ms. Peretti was called into Ms. Faraji's office. When Ms. Faraji arrived, an individual from HR was present. Ms. Peretti was falsely explaining that Ms. Faraji did not want her full-time schedule back. Ms. Faraji grew upset. Oh, so that girl was the boss, Ms. Peretti, explained that she did want her full-time schedule and explained that Ms. Peretti had been treating her poorly for years. Ms. Faraji had multiple meetings with human resources where she explained that Ms. Peretti yelled at her, made fun of her, and bullied her. Okay, so again, the ladies, we asked to be in a man's world. Have you guys ever been bullied at work or made fun of? Now, I'm not saying it should happen, right? The same way, I don't think the bar, what I explained at the bar, I wasn't a fan of that, I didn't think that should happen. But is it worth a lawsuit? I mean, if you're, one time, so I worked in plumbing for a second, not actually doing the work, thank God. Sorry. Shout out to the plumbers out there, you know what I mean? But I sold this plumbing tech stuff, and it was essentially like pipe holders, like pipe, and it would take away the vibrations. Obviously, I wasn't too good at it because I'm here. So, anyways, when I was at this job, part of my job was to book my boss to give presentations at like plumbing trade schools. So like the local, I don't know, it'd be like 130, wherever the men go to get their training. And what was crazy to me was how the guys talked to each other. I remember like listening, like they were, I don't remember what they said now, but I remember thinking that if I had that job, I would cry because they were so rude and they would just bully each other. But, that's a man's world. Like they don't speak nicely. All right, we'll continue. Ms. Faraji remains on Undisputed and is asked to join the herd. In the summer of 2018, Ms. Taylor was moved from Undisputed to the herd with Colin Coward. Ms. Taylor again requested Ms. Faraji to do her hair. Colin Coward also requested that she do his hair. Thus, every day, Mr. Faraji would do Mr. Bayless's hair for Undisputed, and then would do Ms. Taylor's and Mr. Cowherd's hair for the herd. Throughout her tenure at Fox, Ms. Cowherd was professional and respectful to Ms. Faraji and her coworkers. Around this time, after learning of Ms. Taylor and Mr. Dixon's sexual relationship, Ms. Taylor's then fiance broke off the engagement and threatened to go public with all he knew. On information and disbelief, Mr. Dixon paid for the wedding deposits in an informal exchange for her fiance's silence. Okay, so now we're going back here. Oh, okay. Oh, so maybe they both got cheated on. So I'm thinking we're gonna have to bring this other guy back. So he got cheated on. I don't know if I'm right or wrong.
So that's the husband. And
This is the fiance.
They dated, but ended up not getting married.
Oh, they didn't get married?
No.
Oh.
As far as I read.
Oh, I thought they were married. Okay, that's where I was confused. We're gonna recrop. This guy has nothing to do with this. Okay. So he was gonna, because he probably put down, I mean, a woman like that, do you think she's gonna have a cheap wedding? Do you think, I mean, that wedding deposit had to be huge. So, he went in, he said, I can't believe you. He said, look, I just wanted some ass, okay? I mean, what was I supposed to do, man? This was at work every day. I mean, I'm a man, okay? Look at me. Look at her. You were in Miami. What did you expect me to do? And he said, look, I want all my money I spent on this woman back, and I will shut up. And he said, deal. No lawsuit for me. He thought he was in the clear. What?
Not that guy. So.
Oh, it was this guy. I had someone take an interesting opinion the other day. He told me he would rather date a whore for a short period of time and have her cheat because the experience would be more pleasant. Because the hoes, like, even though they're hoes, they're obviously going to cheat on you. They're like more, they learn female game. They're like nicer to you. They're more accommodating than a nagging woman that's faithful. He's like, I would take a 304 that, okay, it's a shorter period. You got to dump her when she cheats, but you at least had a good experience than a longer relationship with a woman that doesn't cheat, but she's a nagging bitch. I don't know. Pick one. I know they're both bad, but pick one in the comments. Okay. We're going back. Oh my gosh. This woman remembered everything. Like, this is over a decade. She must have had like something in her notes. Mr. Diaz racially and sexually harasses Ms. Faraji. Okay, so there's another guy that comes in here. So Bobby Diaz, I couldn't find a picture of him that I was sure was him. He's just a behind the scenes guy. So Bobby Diaz mocked Ms. Faraji for her pronunciation of English words and sexualized the way that she was eating fruit. Ms. Faraji did not respond. She just kept her eyes glued on the monitor, playing Undisputed. Ms. Pearly was present and did not do anything. On the information and belief, Mr. Diaz openly gropes, harasses, and is inappropriate with women at Fox. On information and behalf of Mr. Diaz has not been fired, reportedly due to his role in supplying cocaine to numerous Fox employees and talent. What? And all you've been doing is the camera. Where's the coke here? That's what the other guys are bringing to the table. Come on.
I'm not an audio guy. I'm just the camera guy.
Hey, wait, the other media personalities are getting drugs. Come on.
Hey, where's the hairstylist for me to harass? Equal pay out here.
Yeah, I know. Apparently, I mean, yeah, apparently they're wilding at these camera places. On information and belief, in 2024, Ms. Faraji sent notice of this impending lawsuit to Fox. Mr. Diaz made a mockery of his discussions with human resources regarding his interactions with Ms. Faraji. He told various employees that Ms. Faraji was stupid, defiantly, stated that despite being told not to speak about his discussions with human resources, he didn't care. Who gives a shit? He further boasted that he would never be fired. I don't know if you should have said that. And apparently, he also removed his pants live on camera. No, look, okay. I know that sounds crazy. But I want to give you, media is just a weird industry. Now, I want to clarify, that has never happened to me. Nobody, the pants have never, like, that I've never experienced. But I will say, because it's media, you know, after shows, people hang out. They, you know, because I remember this happened with Crowder, where the guys, you know, in that case, I can't remember what happened, but it was some weird guy stuff. Like, it was something to do with balls. It was something like that. And the way they made it sound was as if it was a sexual thing. But do guys do that together? They just whip out. I don't care. I don't want to know. I'm not in that. But my point is, you don't know what the context was of the situation. I don't know why he would take his pants off on set. I don't. But okay. Now, the reason I'm here. Ms. Taylor uses her sexuality to get on a show. In 2020, Ms. Taylor asked Ms. Faraji to meet her for lunch in Beverly Hills. When Ms. Faraji arrived, she found Ms. Taylor with a man, Emmanuel Echo. Miss Faraji did not know Mr. Echo, but could tell the two were romantically involved. A few months after meeting Mr. Echo at the lunch, Mr. Faraji noticed him in the hallway while at work. Mr. Faraji later asked if Mr. Echo also worked at Fox. Ms. Taylor confirmed and explained she wanted Mr. Echo to eventually recommend her for the show Speak for Yourself. Ms. Faraji became alarmed and warned Ms. Taylor that she should probably not sleep with Mr. Dixon and Mr. Echo at the same time, as Mr. Dixon is a very powerful man that may become angry. Ms. Taylor told her not to worry about it. She explained that she was also now powerful, and once Mr. Dixon was no longer useful to her, she would follow through on a plan to tell the company that he forced himself onto her. She would not allow herself to be forced out by Mr. Dixon like other women talent. In September of 2022, Ms. Taylor started to work on Speak. Ms. Taylor also requested Ms. Faraji do her hair. What is going on at Fox? So now we got this guy. So now she's sleeping with this guy and this guy. Don't know if this guy has just done an inappropriate comment. What do you guys rate her 1 to 10? I mean, maybe she has a good body, but I just can't imagine the guy's line like harassing her that hard. Okay. In 2020, Jane Doe, an employee at Fox, began demonstrating erratic behavior. One night at an informal dinner at Maestro's Steakhouse, she grew irrationally enraged with Mr. Faraji and screamed, "F you, you Persian B." The dinner ended after Miss M broke a glass and threatened to harm herself. Wow. Following the dinner, Ms. Faraji's co-workers, who is Black, reported the incident to Human Resources, that she would not be okay with someone calling her a Black bee. Anonymous also had Ms. Faraji report the incident to Ms. Pearly. Despite these reports supposedly being anonymous, Ms. M learned of the reports and became increasingly unstable towards Ms. Faraji. Every single morning, Ms. M would scream and throw things at Ms. Faraji. Approximately 6 months later, Ms. Faraji told Human Resources that she believed her life was in danger. Her life was in danger. Okay. Human Resources responded that Ms. Faraji should leave the workplace when Ms. M was having an episode. After a year and a half, Ms. M was fired. Ms. M's ex-boyfriend, a producer at Fox, shared that Human Resources gave Ms. M a large amount of money and a severance. Ms. Faraji wondered why Fox rewarded her bully with money. HR apologized to Ms. Faraji, explaining that they did not have the experience to deal with mental health issues. So you see this? If a man did that, where would he be? Where would he be if a man had a freak out at work? Where would he be? Fired. Gone. But the ladies, they just can't live in a man's world. You told HR instead of the police. Yeah. Exactly. Thank you. Human Resources offered Ms. Faraji free therapy. She declined the free therapy, but began to see an independent therapist once a week. Okay. Ms. Faraji believes she has cancer and conveys this to Mr. Bayless in an attempt to stop his advances, only to have him offer $1.5 million for sex. So this is Mr. Bayless. I mean, I guess she's better looking than the wife. But I mean, he's an on-air personality. Do you guys know how much ass on-air personalities get? I did shows, right? And it would be funny because so the women would be arguing with the guys on the show, right? You know, the guys would be red pill or conservative, and the women would say, "Guy, you're terrible, whatever, feminism." Do you know how many times those guys would take a woman home after the show? It just 1.5 million. I You know what? I'm gonna see if there's better pictures of her. I need to, because this just isn't computing. She must have had a banging body, because guys will do a lot. Okay.
More likely is the fact that the guy was like, I don't want to be rejected. It's a pride ego thing for him. More likely.
I guess. My producer said it's a pride and ego that he doesn't want to be rejected. I mean, but there's so many women out there. I mean, again, not ugly, but like, okay. Over the years, Mr. Bayless continued to make advances on Ms. Faraji. Lingering hugs, blah, blah, blah. Ms. Faraji would always make excuses regarding her son, politely change the subject, or make a joke. Anything to keep Mr. Bayless appeased and her job safe. In 2021, Ms. Faraji has developed issues with her left ovary and is advised it could be cancer. With a fourth biopsy scheduled, she explained her situation to Mr. Bayless, hoping he would take pity and cease his advances. Instead, Mr. Bayless told her that he wanted to be with her. Mr. Faraji panicked and began rambling that there were cameras everywhere. Oh, Ms. Faraji, sorry. Panicked and began rambling that there were cameras everywhere, that she had a child, and she does not want him. Mr. Bayless grabbed her hands, began kissing them, and offered her 1.5 million to have sex. Miss Faraji made an excuse to leave. Approximately 1 week later, Mr. Bayless made an advance at Ms. Faraji, and she responded with, "Skip, stop. You have a wife." Mr. Bayless responded, "Aren't you Muslim? Doesn't your dad have 3 to 4 wives?" Ms. Faraji responded that her father was dead. And when Mr. Bayless looked taken aback, she made an excuse to leave. Ms. Faraji's job is threatened because she does not want to sleep with Mr. Bayless. On April 12th, 2022, Mr. Bayless texted Ms. Faraji, "I'm good today." The text meant that he would not be coming in for hair. Mr. Bayless texted Ms. Faraji, "Not comfortable coming down there. Just do what you need to do. It's okay." Ms. Faraji asked him what was wrong. "Same stuff, worse." He replied, "Same stuff, worse." Ms. Faraji, concerned about her job, walked into Mr. Bayless's fitting room to see if everything was okay. Mr. Bayless answered the door, and before Ms. Faraji could speak, he began to angrily accuse Ms. Faraji over effing Mr. Sharp. Ms. Faraji tried to explain that she did not have any feelings towards Mr. Sharp and never had slept with him or any other talent manager at Fox, but before she could speak, Mr. Bayless demanded she come to his car after the show. Ms. Faraji responded that she could not sit in his car as it was inappropriate. Mr. Bayless grew irate and left. On April 14th, 2022, Mr. Bayless texted Ms. Faraji, "If you're distracted tomorrow, I'll wait till Monday, but I can't keep doing this." Ms. Faraji told him that she was very confused. Mr. Bayless said, "Trust me, I'm far more confused." Ms. Faraji then explained over the text she is not sleeping with Mr. Sharp. Mr. Bayless did not respond. On April 15th, 2022, Mr. Bayless texted Ms. Faraji, "Do you still want to do the haircut or just move on?" Ms. Faraji said that she doesn't want to move on from her job and she will continue doing hair. Mr. Bayless called Ms. Faraji on April 2022. Mr. Bayless called Ms. Faraji. Ms. Faraji did not answer the call because she was scared. She then called back 10 minutes later. On the call, Bayless angrily accused Ms. Faraji of effing Mr. Sharp and said she could tell from her body language that she was effing him. Ms. Faraji tried to explain that she was kind to all the talent, and that including laughing and engaging in conversation. Ms. Faraji said that asked if he was yelling at her because she refused to go to his car. Mr. Bayless answered that she shouldn't talk to him like that. Ms. Faraji replied that she could respond however she wanted. Mr. Bayless then angrily stated that he had heard her talk to Mr. Sharp about her vagina. Ms. Faraji knew this to be untrue and was embarrassed and angry. Ms. Faraji responded that if she had been dating Mr. Sharp, which she wasn't, it shouldn't matter at all because she had a professional relationship with Mr. Bayless. On April 17th, 2022, Ms. Faraji arrived in the makeup room, turned on a recording device, put it on the table, and waited for Mr. Bayless to arrive. In the meantime, 2 of Ms. Faraji's coworkers were privy to Mr. Bayless's actions, went into went into other talent members' rooms adjacent to the makeup room to listen into the conversation. Mr. Bayless then arrived in the makeup room for Ms. Faraji to cut his hair in accordance with his regular schedule. Mr. Bayless knew that the makeup room was always recorded and clearly states this room is bugged. During their conversation, Mr. Bayless states that he would hate for her to lose her job, but she can't be doing a thing with my arch rival. She responded by reinstating that being polite to Mr. Sharp is part of her job. Mr. Bayless responded, BS, bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. I am calling bullshit on you. Mr. Bayless then warned that he doesn't want her to lose her job over this. Ms. Faraji responded that she wasn't going to lose her job. She is a great hairdresser. And Mr. Bayless responded, I have love for you, and I have for 6 years, and you hurt me, and you are ruining this. Ms. Faraji again responded that she must be polite to all talent. Mr. Bayless then implied if he stopped requesting her that it would affect her job. Mr. Faraji responded that she is scheduled to work every morning at 5:45 a.m. If she would like to get her hair done, he is welcome to sit in her chair. Mr. Bayless continued to threaten her job. Ms. Faraji knew he was trying to pressure her into having sex with him, but kept repeating that she was a professional and had to be kind to all talent. On April 21st, 2022, Mr. Bayless asked if Ms. Faraji would come into his house to color his hair, a side job that Ms. Faraji previously would partake in when Mr. Bayless's wife was home. On this occasion, with her therapist's help, she conveyed that she was no longer going to be going to his home. The following week, Mr. Bayless arrived in the makeup room as if their conversations never happened, but Ms. Faraji remained on edge. Ms. Faraji had worsening nightmares regarding the incident that took place with Mr. Bayless. Nightmares? Okay, that is a little bit dramatic. Ms. Faraji's therapist started using eye movement. Okay, blah, blah, blah. She went to therapy. Okay, so when I'm listening to this, I think one of my theory is one of three things happened. One, we all know at work, lines can get blurred, where people have crushes on each other. They may not necessarily be hooking up, but they go to lunch. The lunch goes long. They're hanging out for long periods of time. You see them talking after work. Maybe they're not hooking up per se, but they have a very close relationship. Option one is that they had a really close relationship but never slept together. Because I'm a little hesitant if they slept together. I don't know if she would have brought the lawsuit forward. Or they had slept together, but she knows he has no proof that happened. It doesn't make sense that he's talking to her like that with nothing having happened. No flirting, no. It's possible. I'm not saying it's impossible. But the ladies like to play innocent a lot. Play innocent. They did nothing. Option three is she's telling the truth and it happened exactly as she's saying. I don't know. You guys tell me. Also, feel free to hit the like button. Go to theaudacitynetwork.com. Ms. Faraji participates in an internal investigation only to be singled out, taken off speak, and accused of having sex with Mr. Bayless. In mid-July, Anna Drucker, Fox Sports Vice President of Employee Relations, asked Ms. Faraji for a meeting. At the meeting, Ms. Drucker asked Ms. Taylor if she was having a relationship with Mr. Echo. Ms. Faraji admitted that the two were in a sexual relationship. Ms. Faraji shared this information because she didn't think it was a big deal. Ms. Taylor and Mr. Echo had similar amounts of power, and because she didn't think Ms. Taylor or Mr. Echo would physically harm her for providing this information. On July 31st, 2023, Jane Doe of Employee Relations asked Ms. Faraji for a meeting. At the meeting, Ms. Doe told Ms. Faraji that there had been complaints of her humming. Okay. Ms. Faraji explained that her humming was an involuntary subconscious coping mechanism for her diagnosed PTSD. She escaped from the Middle East. That was her PTSD. Okay, I'll give her the PTSD, even though I know very few women that have it and it's real. But I'll give her the PTSD. My producer said she escaped from the Middle East. Okay, fine. Now she's humming to cope. Her blah blah blah. Okay, so now she's basically saying that she's accusing everybody of trying to hurt her and embarrass her because she hums. Ms. Doe thanked Ms. Faraji for the information, abruptly changed the conversation, and quickly asked whether she had made public comments regarding Mr. Dixon and Ms. Taylor having sex. Ms. Faraji became very scared and responded that while everyone in the company knew about their relationship, she did not have any information and did not want to comment on it. Ms. Doe then tried to end the conversation and asked if Ms. Faraji had any questions. Ms. Faraji began crying, asking why such a swift investigation took place regarding her humming, but no one cared about Ms. Ames threatening to kill her or mocking her English. Ms. Faraji then explained that all she wants is a normal, safe work environment, but everyone mistreats her and there are no consequences for them. She focused on mocking her English and was thinking about her interactions with Mr. Dixon and Mr. Bayless. On August 2023, okay, so my thought, because in this woman's eyes, everyone's out to get her. I just doubt it was that bad. Ms. Peretti approximately told 8 of Ms. Faraji's coworkers to not associate with Ms. Faraji as she had a pending case with Human Resources. Ms. Faraji was confused. From her perspective, she did not have a pending case with Human Resources. Employee Relations had only called her to answer regarding questions with her Ms. Taylor. On August 9th, 2023, Ms. Perotti told Ms. Faraji that her services were no longer... You know what? She fucked him. I'm sorry. Oh, shit. She had to. It makes perfect sense. If she slept with him, there's an investigation into it. She has to get it on camera, her saying no. She has to. Her reputation, you have to think about it from her point of view. Her reputation is on the line. If HR is I don't think HR will randomly put an investigation onto you for sleeping with somebody. There has to be some smoke there. She slept with him. The reason she didn't go out to his car is she doesn't want to get caught. She puts the camera out, stages the conversation, even though they've slept together before. That's what I think happened. Okay, Fox Sports Executive VP of Human Resources and Business. Oh, wait, no, of course he's going to say no. Duh, what am I doing? Business Operations and Ms. Drucker asked Mr. Bayless for a meeting. Mr. Bayless arrived. Ms. Buvace and Ms. Drucker told Mr. Bayless not to worry and that his job was safe. The two started interrogating him on whether he had a romantic relationship with Ms. Faraji and whether she had offered him sex. When Mr. Bayless responded truthfully that she had never offered him sex, they then told him not to worry about it and his job was safe. No, I think he's lying. Sorry, you know what? I think he's lying because if you're a guy, you're getting called into HR, you don't want to lose your job. No, you're not going to tell him the truth. Okay, they again told him not to worry and that his job was safe, implying they wanted him to say otherwise. This circular conversation took place for 20 minutes. Following the meeting, Mr. Dixon called Mr. Bayless and asked why he didn't just lie. Mr. Bayless responded, "Who cares about Ms. Faraji?" Mr. Dixon said, "Who cares? I can get you a better looking hairstylist." Okay, and then she eventually gets fired. I mean, that's like pretty much the end of it. And so this is what I think happened. This is my guess. And I want you guys to put your guess. I think I'm going to put my prediction here. So Joy is friends with the hairstylist. Now they're hoe friends. I mean, come on. She's got heavy makeup. This just looks like a woman on demon time. She's a single mom. You're telling me that she had a lot of integrity. I don't believe it. So she's married and engaged, but she's on demon time. Now, obviously her friend's sleeping with this guy and this guy. It would kind of make sense that she starts sleeping with this guy. I mean, her friend's sleeping with 2 other guys at work. You might as well just add. Now, I think this is alleged. I think, my guess, what I think. Now, the rumor starts going around the office. She wants to be the pretty blonde girl next door. She doesn't want to have the reputation of a hoe. So what does she have to do? She has to set up a situation and get this guy on camera hitting on her with her not responding. She has to contract that all these people were hitting on her, even though she's not that hot, especially for TV. I mean, and then on top of it, she sees an opportunity to sue and win because she has that. She takes it to a law firm. They say, oh, this is gold. And that's what I think happened. Now, the next part we're going to show is the hilarious videos of Joy Taylor talking about how hard she worked. I just thought these were funny. So the woman sleeping with 3 men at work.
Wake up call, same time. How would I not know how hard it is to do the show I work on? You have to constantly reaffirm that you are good enough, that you belong there, and then always prove it. So I would just always say you got to do twice the work to get half the opportunity.
Do you see those guys? They got a simp. What's their choice? To say you a hoe, you have your tits out, or do they have to simp?
To me, the mentality I've always had on it is that's just going to make me better. So that's why I'm excellent.
Because he does not believe it.
I couldn't be average. I couldn't be okay. I couldn't be late. I couldn't complain. I couldn't say no. Now I do.
Right.
We got this guy posting his shout out to Joy Taylor.
Done with rehearsal for the new show Speak, and I got to take a moment to shout out my co-host Joy Taylor. A woman, a black woman, daily show, sports. Do you all realize how hard it is to get into the position that she is in? So often there's misogyny and sexism running rampant in sports, and we don't even care what women have to say in sports. But Joy is not only in the position on television as a woman, as a black woman, but as an opinionist. So not just asking men what they think, but providing her own unique and distinct insight.
Now, why is he going to pander? Because he knows if she wants him out, he's gone. She's one lawsuit away.
It's hard to do, and Joy, you have done it. So congratulations. Looking forward to working with you, and hope y'all tune in 4:30 to 6 Eastern.
Yeah, that's the point, that they're having sex, and so like she has leverage on him. He's obviously got a simp. So I made some takeaways from this whole situation we're going to go through.